Hi, Lauren Delsack here. In this video, I thought I'd do an update looking at two horoscopes where the Draconic Mars comes in to conjunct the natal ascendant. So in the first in the first horoscope, we want to look at the natal, looking at that configuration down at the bottom of the horoscope with Mars, Mercury, and the natal sun in Cancer. And this configuration happens to also square, it's angular in the natal, it happens to square into the ascendant, descendant, which the angles of the horoscope are at 9 degrees cardinal signs. Now, Mars in Cancer is not a happy fellow in the sign of Cancer. It's exalted in the opposite sign in Capricorn, and it's in its fall in Cancer. So that's not a fun placement for Mars. There are probably emotional security issues that are going on or pertaining to the family, to one of the parents. You know, it's like those three planets are like glued at the bottom of the horoscope. And Mars happens to rule his Aries ascendant. So this is very important. And its conjunction with Mercury probably can signify that he doesn't believe necessarily that good things can last. There's some insecurities going on there. However, when we bring in the Draconic and we place it on the outer wheel with his natal, well, you can see that now Draconic Mars, Mercury, and the Sun have moved into Aries. And they're coming in, Mars is coming in right conjunct that natal ascendant in Aries. And Mars is in its rulership now. So you can imagine if this person walked in the room, what you're likely going to feel is that strong presence of that Mars in Aries coming right through the projection of his natal ascendant. You're not going to feel that necessarily that softy, moody Cancer. Now, Mars in Aries is normally going to use aggression, and this potentially could make the person, if we're looking at this horoscope, this could make the person very impulsive. The Mars in Aries coming in on the ascendant, it could make him, let's say, explosive in terms of how he expresses his anger. So there could be a little bit of, walking on eggshells around this person, because the super sensitive Cancer then can explode with that Aries, that Mars in Aries, and that natal ascendant in Aries. At any rate, notice also that in the Draconic, the red planets, you'll see how natal Mars, the blue planets, or the natal planets, how that is situated really in his third house. So when you look at that double-wheeled chart with Draconic Mars coming in on the ascendant, it's coming in through the influence of that third house. And so we could say potentially or possibly that there are some sibling issues that affected his identity. Third house, we're talking about the third house issues or the influence that makes that Mars come in forcefully in Aries. So there could be some competitiveness maybe from the siblings in the early home life that makes him really want to, let's say, make things happen, I would say. So, but but there is an impulsivity with that Mars in Aries. I happen to know the individual because it's a client, but I don't want to talk too much about that. It's more looking at the symbolism of having that Mars now flip into its rulership coming in through the Ascendant. The next horoscope is very interesting. If you note, we see natal Mars in the 8th house in Leo, ruler of the 4th. Okay, so we can see there can be 8th house matters linked into maybe early home life, the 4th, one of the parents. And the Mars, natal Mars, is square to the North Node, a maternal influence symbolism there, Venus and the Sun. Now, natal Mars in Leo can take on a dramatic energy expression. Noel Till has a great phrase for this, for Mars in Leo. He says, it plans to get away with murder. We're not talking about literally murder, that's an expression. It defends its position, it's a fixed sign, it assumes its acceptance and its success. Now, when we put the Draconic on the outer wheel and the natal on the inner, you see that now Draconic Mars comes in exactly conjunct the Ascendant. It's telling you, you better talk about that Mars because it's real important here. It actually comes in at the 1st degrees of Capricorn, which is the Aries point, another subject. So it's going to be projected publicly for everyone to see in the sign of Capricorn, where it's exalted. And Mars in Capricorn can use threat and retaliation. That's a possibility. The energy needs to be strategic, controlled. It wants to get things done. So it's going to make a strong statement, and especially coming in on the natal Ascendant. Now notice when we put the Draconic red planets on the outer wheel, the natal blue planets on the inner, that Mars in the Draconic is bringing in the 8th house influence. And so the story is that in this individual's teen years, they attempted suicide, 8th house. I won't get into more details about that. And of course, I just want to say that if anyone listening has a natal 8th house, it doesn't mean you're going to try to do that. In this individual's life, that's what happened. And the beauty, however, is in this individual's young adulthood, and through that suicidal tendencies, they went into psychotherapy. They have a therapist that's been working with them for many years, 8th house again, and this individual has been able to find expression. Remember, Mars is how we like to express our energy. This person came into yoga, which was like a saving grace for them. Again, 8th house, alternative healing methodologies. So I just wanted to share those 2 examples with you of how, or the importance of when a Draconic planet is coming in on one of the angles of the natal horoscope. Okay, I hope that you've learned from that and enjoyed that, and thank you again for listening. Be well.